Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your co host, RJ, the not so balanced blue tonight, joined by Scott, the happy gooner, and Robbie, the League Cup champion Red Devil. How you feeling, legend? I'll go to you first.
Very good, boys. Hopefully the voice holds up for the rest of the episode. But yeah, look, I've had an awesome weekend in general. Obviously, got the cherry on top of the cake this morning with lifting up the trophy. Ten Hag's first for United and the drought of 6 years. So look, it's been a very good day, man. But again, as always, looking forward to talking football with you boys and seeing you guys. How are you both?
Not too bad, not too bad. Scott, you're looking like you're pretty fresh at the moment. You showed us something pretty cool just off air a moment ago, which you can touch on. But how you doing?
Oh yeah, no, look, boys, enjoying life. Obviously, most of the footballing world this morning was all Newcastle, but it wasn't quite black and white. It didn't go to plan. The Devils ran riot. So look, congratulations to them, begrudgingly. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more soon. But Arsenal got their points. Had a nice new football kit arrive. The AC Milan limited edition kit came this morning. Boxed beautifully. I can't even bring myself to open it. It's going to sit in the box, gather dust, and then my wife will probably make me sell it in a couple of months. But doing well, boys. What about you, RJ, mate? Because quite simply, you must be going through it at the moment. 2 wins in 16, I think it is now.
Yeah, well, you said results about.
Oh, we've don't start muting yourself to get out of this one, champion. Yeah, he's faking it. Nah, Arch, we've
come
lost
in and
you,
come
mate.
out. Yeah, we've lost you.
Jump out. Yeah, all good. Look at him, Robbie. Look at him, mate. He doesn't want to talk Chelsea anymore. He's had enough. But me and you can run this. We'll just laugh at Chelsea together. They're really, though, up against it. It's almost getting to that point. And by almost, I mean, I'll enjoy this for like 6 more years till it's at this point. But it's almost at the point where it's not funny anymore. Like 2 wins in 16 games. You then had, and RJ will give his thoughts on this. You had Graham Potter coming out saying that he'd received death threats and his family. No, obviously, we say this all the time, man. There's a fine line between criticism, and I think as fans, we're entitled to criticize our team when they let us down because we invest our hearts, our time, money, all of that into a football club. So we have the right to criticize, but I don't think you ever have the right to abuse. Now, this could either be that it did happen, and you'd like to think if Graham Potter said it, then it did. But it's also a really good way to kind of divert a bit of attention away as well, like that they're not performing well. What did you make of the threats and things, if that's true?
Well, to be honest, that's the first I've heard of it. So yeah, if it's true, I think I'm on the same line as you, man. For me, that's too far over the line. Constructive criticism, as we always say, is fair, but anything over the line, that's a criminal act, really. So for me, I hope that's not true. And yeah, look, I hope it's not a deflection at the same time. But you wouldn't think someone would be deflecting something so serious like that. But footballing wise, I'm just really shocked with Chelsea, man. Like I think we're all, because we've never seen something like this happen to this extent without repercussions. Like, we're going to, at the moment, I feel bad in saying of it.
Old Chelsea would have sacked him.
He would have 3 managers by now if it was all the same like this. So it's honestly, but that's how it is. That was Roman. He was ruthless, and they got results out of it. And I don't know, this guy must really want to make him not himself look bad that he's kind of got rid of the winner in Churchill and bringing this guy, pumped all the money into it, and then you can't even say they're not getting results. They're not getting goals. Yeah. Like they've got all these flair players, they're still not getting goals. They're losing to relegation teams. Obviously, today would have hurt another London derby they've lost. Like, honestly, like they're out of majority of the cups. They're halfway out of the Champions League at the moment. And I'm really shocked. So for me, like I reckon we pass it back to RJ when he comes back in.
Yeah,
we'll get his feelings on the situation.
RJ, speak.
Back to you, mate.
Sorry, boys. I just had a crisis meeting with Graham Potter. So look,
That's life.
That's
man.
life. That's life.
that's life. And I did hear you because I could hear what was going on. I just couldn't
Cool.
contribute. And look, I hear what you're saying about potential deflection, this and that. I don't think it would stoop to those lows to act
That's
as a
what I
bit of a
said. That's
decoy.
what I
When you're
said. I
talking
agree.
something as serious as that, whatever it is, regardless of the situation, we all know it's uncalled for. So let's put that behind us. On the pitch, the criticism is 120% validated by the fan base. To Graham's credit, he hasn't shied away and said, "Oh, it's not my problem." If you listen and read his press conferences, he says it's totally unacceptable, the results, and we've just got to work our way through it. It's not inspiring, definitely not inspiring. And I'm scratching my head. I've been running on like a couple hours sleep because I stayed up for it. I was pumped. Spurs are a team that we used to win against all the time. And to not get a goal again, 1 goal in 6 games, 2 wins in 16, it's beyond relegation. It's pathetic. Brutally honest, it's disgusting. It's unacceptable. I'm all for being patient. As I've said many times, you all know me. The fans of the show know me for being patient. But patience is only validated when you have something to be patient towards and you can see something. There's nothing there to back this patient mentality. So I'm not necessarily saying red pen now. He's got to go 100% because I don't believe that, because I'm not sure someone comes in right now and then has to hit the reset button 10 games left of the season or 12 games left, whatever it is for us. But at the same time, like Graham said, the faith can only last so long if you're not getting some form of results. So as I said this morning, boys, on the tweet, things are going to get worse before they get better. It's just a matter of how far will they go before Todd Bowley and say, pull the pin, experiment didn't work. So, yeah, mate, tragic scenes at Stamford Bridge, but at least you boys have something to be happy about.
And they tried pulling. There was some commentary that came out this morning around it, pretty much saying that they were spoken to and they were comparing Graham Potter to Mikel Arteta, and they were using Arsenal.
He did.
Yeah,
Using Arsenal as that benchmark, saying, look, everyone wanted to sack Arteta and look at him now. I have to say, even at our worst with Mikel Arteta, 2-16, we were never that bad. And this was already with a much weaker squad. Mikel Arteta's squad didn't have Enzo Fernandez in it, didn't have, the 100 million euro Mudryk in it, didn't have Joao Felix. You have a very good squad on paper, but the game's just not won there. And I think some of his mistakes are inexcusable. How Kai Havertz is starting every single game and playing the full match is beyond me. Me. Either play Felix up top or play Aubameyang up there.
I said Aubameyang last week, you bring him on an 83rd minute today. I watched a bit of the
Well, and they're making a double substitution when Kane scored the second goal. So who knows after that point, could they have swung the game around? But like you said, Mudryk on the bench, you've kept Kai Havertz on, who hasn't really justified his performances. I understand your bench. Mason came on and actually had a nice little cameo, but they just look like a bunch of individuals that are winging it at the moment. And that's the real problem, is that this guy has come from Brighton with a record of being able to play an attractive style of football. I wouldn't necessarily say effective, because effective means you're constantly winning and your XG is so over the top. But when you look at his long-term trend, they create a lot of chances, but they also concede a lot of chances. So your overall effectiveness isn't really that good. And on top of that, comparing to the likes of Arteta, compared to the likes of Eddie Howe that have come in for Newcastle, you start to see that even when Guardiola, when he first came on, he's not in the same ballpark at the moment. He's a good coach, he's a good manager, but it's quite clear to see that Arteta's worked under someone like a Guardiola in a high-pressure environment like Manchester City. This guy's come from the lowest of the lows, had a very impressive uprise, but this is, at the moment, it's seeming like this is a bridge too far for him. So I want him to succeed, particularly in light of the abuse he's copped. But at the end of the day, it's a results-driven business, and you've got to demonstrate some sort of encouragement, because the fan base can only tolerate so much. So we'll leave it at that.
Easy. Look, let's move on. A few United fans in the chat. We got Tom. from the pubcast. Yeah, he's pretty tired. It's a fire thing. Yeah, and Rob's stress levels. Rob is, of everyone I've ever watched football with, if I have to pick someone that I find it unenjoyable, it's Rob. Because all Robbie does is whinge through the whole game. His team could be up 7-0, and if a player sneezes, he's having heart palpitations because he thinks they're about to throw it away and lose 8-7. I couldn't have handled him this morning, I don't think. Arj, vouch for me. Robbie's full on to watch a match with, yeah?
It's good. I remember when we went
I
to
don't know if good's the
Marconi
word I
once.
use.
No, it was classic. We went to Marconi once to watch, I think it was a Euro game, whatever
Italy,
it was.
Turkey.
Yeah, and you know, we're pretty similar in the sense of the intensity of which we play. But I remember in some instances the ball and the player aren't that close to him. But I remember Robbie's getting up and saying, press him, shut him down. It's like he's nowhere near him, man. Don't worry. He's what could he do in that situation? But I love the intensity. I love it.
That's it. We got Justin here. One trophy down. How many more? None. That's it, mate. You got the cup that you've all been mocking for the last 10 years because it doesn't matter. You've got it. Enjoy it. Emad's seen it all. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know if you're talking about Ollie Ball. Daniel's here. Yeah, Chelsea are
100%, Daniel. Let's stick strong, my brother.
Congrats to Rob, and he's putting some updated scores. Look at this, boys. Wow, it's tight. And Borch, look at him. The cigar. I'm sure it's out. Let's talk about Manchester United. Obviously, the Carabao Cup is a piece of silverware and it's something to be celebrated. Jokes aside, there are a lot of morons out there who say it's not a real cup, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I can't believe United are celebrating it. Mate, I'll be celebrating it. It's a cup. The minute you can't celebrate cups as a football fan is the minute I don't know why you're even watching. So congratulations to you guys, Robbie. It was a good win, good performance. I just think you guys, that killer instinct in your squad really came out, and Newcastle can be proud too, but we don't want my analysis on it. We want yours. What did you make of the match, Robbie?
Yeah, look, what can I say? The overall thing, just, the whole getting to the pub 1:00 in the morning with all the boys out. It was a great turnout, man. Like, I didn't expect that for a 3:30 kickoff on a Monday morning in Australia, but I went in nervous because I said to everyone all week, I said that Newcastle, as we've seen Trafalgar Square and all the images, they're going to play for. They haven't been in a final, haven't won a final in 59 years. This is on the new regime under the new ownership. How quick they've risen since they were in a relegation battle last year to being in a cup final. Mate, if they did win today, you would have seen Champions League style celebrations for real, open top bars. You would have seen it all. So for me, I'm going to say, congrats to them, number one, for making it and how quick they've kind of fast-tracked their whole project at the moment. But they were a really good team today, honestly. And if you look, there was quite big parts of the game where actually I could tell they were even better than us at some points. Again, as we like to say, stats don't always tell the game. They did have the possession, but, we dominated in, I think it was 9-2 shots on target. Obviously, we were clinical one. We kept the clean sheet. I said last week on the pod that we were going to win 2-0, and I said the most important people were going to be your Varans, your Casemiros. So he was the one I highlighted. Obviously, he was the one that got us off with the first goal. And then Mr. Inform, Marcus Rashford, went down as OG, but later on today, it's actually been awarded to him. But for me, it was his goal, regardless if it was a deflection or not. He got the goal. To go into 2-0 was a massive, massive relief, man. And like I said, for me, all we had to do was we didn't have to score a goal in the second half. We just had to not concede. And to be fair to them, they came out and really, really they attacked us. And especially early on in the game, Dallow, our right back, he was on a yellow within 15 minutes, I think, which was everything was already going down his side of the pitch already. So looked a little bit nervous. But that's one thing I love about Eric. He changes things up when he has to. Halftime came, Dallow on a yellow off, Wan-Bissaka came in. One of our best players today, Wan-Bissaka. And same, not long up. One of our other players again on a yellow, Fred, 60th minute, bang, Sabitzer come on again. I thought he had a great cameo today. So look, and again, defensively, like I said, even when we did sit back, they were the ones that had to try and, get the goals in the end. We stood up strong. David De Gea broke a United record today, 181 clean sheets. He's just overtaken Schmeichel. So look, all the stars aligned today. And like I said, it is just the League Cup, but for us, it's the whole monkey off the back 6 years without a trophy is massive for a club of our stature. So to get that off, and look, for Eric, at 6 months, and from we just come off the back of our worst Premier League season ever. For what he's done in such a short amount of time, it just gives us a lot of positive vibes that we can continue, and it just embeds a winning mentality into the team. Everyone buys into it, and we've just come off the back of a 3-0 win to Leicester, knocking out Barcelona in the Europa League in a 2-legged tie, and winning the cup final.
Times.
So and we're still in the tournaments. We've got in 2 days' time. Like I read this morning just now, they flew home at 10 o'clock last night. They're training today because we've got an FA Cup round of 16 game against West Ham and then Liverpool on Monday. So at the moment, the boys are enjoying it. Everyone's on the right train. And for me, even when everyone lifted the trophy today, Eric got the biggest cheer, mate, because he's been our biggest signing and best signing this year.
Thank God for the Glazers, hey, in that vision. Robbie, look at the picture. Look at this legend in there, Bozza. And there's a few heads in that picture too. Couple of studs and a fair few duds. Emad, definitely one of the duds. How was it with Bozza down there? Was he getting into the spirit?
He's always good, Boz. Look, just to get out of bed, at that time of the morning and come down to the pub and celebrate and watch the game with us. He's just a top bloke, Boz. So thanks again to him if he's ever listening to this one.
Easy. Look, seemed like a good time. RJ, obviously we don't like seeing them win. Are you worried that this United team can go on to become a force, RJ? Winning can become a habit. And
we've been praising them. I know, and we've said that, didn't we? We've said this since I've been impressed again. It all goes back to the Ronaldo handling, how he handled that whole saga. That could have made or broken him. He's come out looking like a $1 trillion type of figure. He deserves all the credit, the praise he's gotten. The culture shift he's helped instill in such a short space of time, but even the tactical acumen of making those in-game changes that Rob highlighted in this game, mate, he seems like the full package at the moment. And as a non-Manchester United fan, it worries me to see that a club like Manchester United has rediscovered themselves and that aura about them. So it is a little bit of a watch this space.
Huge worry just on this comment. Alan St. Minimum, sorry. If that performance from him was Anthony or Sancho, the rivals would have been on them. Yeah, good point. I think a lot of the rivals, myself included, do factor in the price tag with that as well. So I don't think anyone's saying St. Maximin is better than either of those guys, but has potential. Let's move on from Manchester United. We've chatted about them. It was a good win. I've got some footage that I'm just sitting on here of Robbie dancing on a table, but I'm not going to do it just in case his wife gets upset with me that I'm showing off the goods on YouTube. But it's sitting here ready. It's 2 clicks away, Sam. If you want me to put it up, text me. Let's talk about my team, though. I had a great show this morning on Cannon Fodder, a fellow YouTube channel, some Arsenal fans. They did a great job. And we just unpacked that Leicester result. For me, the word I would use for that was comfortable. We kept them to 1 shot, wasn't even on target. They didn't really threaten us the way that they did previously. And Robbie has said this himself. Your first 45 minutes against them, that they really gave you a bit of a hard time. And then they died out. For us, they just died out from the beginning. Maddison's a big loss. But I felt we neutralised them quite well. The defence looked sharp. Martinelli was getting a bit more service, scored the goal. Saka was just having a field day. And we started with Trossard up front. Now, I didn't mind this. He scored a banger, which shouldn't have been disallowed for me. I don't know, boys. Did you see that?
I missed that. I woke up right on the goal just before half time, I think it was.
They said that Ben White was holding Danny Ward's hand in the corner and that obstructed him. So they disallowed what would have been a goal of the season contender.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we had one where Saka had 2 hands around him from Big Suter, fell to the ground in the penalty box, and we got nothing. So a handhold is apparently worse. But, what do you say? RJ, did you see that call, the disallowed goal?
I thought it was a right call, but the problem is if you give that, well, you can't just hold a goalkeeper's hand. That obstructed his punch. Trossard wouldn't have got the ball the way he did had he not had his arm. Yeah, that's what I mean. I actually don't think that was as dramatic, to be honest, because a goalkeeper needs his hands. That's quite important as a goalkeeper. But that said, it's inconsistent again. So, yeah, not perfect.
Oh, that's it. Don't forget to smash that like button and sub the man from the Gold Defense Show. His name is Antonio. He's a half.
What's his alter ego?
Oh, look, let's not go there. I got in trouble last week. Boys, it was a good result for Arsenal, and that's what we need to do. They're the games that could easily have been a 0-0 draw. We could have crumbled after the wrongfully disallowed goal, but we didn't. We stuck in, got the goal, and we moved forward. Jorginho, for me, I just want a word on him. What a brilliant signing he's been. For his deficiencies, and there are some, RJ would know this, you would too, Rob, his movement is not the best. He's not the quickest, but his passing range and his vision, brilliant. He plays some really good balls, and I think I feel comfortable when he's on the pitch. I wouldn't be dropping Xhaka Party for him, but I feel a lot better knowing that he's there if we need him.
Good depth, good depth, good cover.
Top depths.
He's a good player. There's no doubt. But the thing with him is because of those physical limitations, you have to have a structure around him to get the most from him. Otherwise, he can become a liability just because of that physical side of things. But yeah, in a good setup, we all know the quality he offers.
Boys, obviously there were some other things that went down. Liverpool. Thank you, Mo Salah. I captained you in this double game week. No goals against Palace, 0-0. Not much you can really say about them. I'm now past the point where I think they're going to turn a corner. I don't think they're going to turn the corner anymore. I think they'll finish mid-table. But were there any other results for you lads that really stood out that you wanted a quick word on before we wrap this one up?
Oh, look, just quickly on the Liverpool one. I still kind of disagree with you. I still think they're very hit and miss. I still think they've got about 2 or 3 games up their sleeve compared to most teams, and they're sitting around maybe 7th, I'm going to say now. If they win those games, which, look, we can't say they're going to because I expected them to beat Crystal Palace. You know, and they've got us in the league too next at Anfield, which will be interesting. But look, I'm not going to say top 4 for them, but I still think they can maybe get towards even push for 5th, 6th kind of thing. But yeah, I think that was one other game. Was it Everton that got a good result, and West Ham maybe?
No, they lost 2-0. Everton lost 2-0. West Ham.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Danny, he was excellent with his hat trick. So.
Yes. Danny Ings, yep. And then that was a big win for them. They really need that down the bottom.
And obviously, Manchester City reborn with their 4-1 win against Bournemouth. They did the business, and that's what they keep doing. And Erling Haaland, for all of the Rashford is the best player at the moment talk, and he has a claim for that title. This guy here is silently going about creeping up the top goal scoring charts. So Man City at this stage, along with United, who are in pretty good form, of course, they are still there or thereabouts. So Arsenal, they got to keep getting these important results because City aren't just going to go away despite them not playing fantastic.
I still stand that if we don't lift the title in May, and this would kill me, I would have to go into high. It will be Manchester United. If it's not us, it's them. Robbie can deny it as much as he wants.
No, I'm not denying it. If we beat Liverpool this week,
anyone can do that now.
If we beat Liverpool at Anfield this week, I'm going to say that we are going to go hard, and I reckon we can get second and push for. I reckon we can put the pressure on. If we win this game, I reckon we can put the pressure on. I'll say that.
Arsenal don't like pressure. That's one thing I know about this team, and I'm yet to be convinced that we do like pressure because we saw what happened last year. The padlock is staying in the garage, that's for sure.
For me, you're still in the position, mate. You guys have been there all year.
We're in the race. We're the front runners, and we should hold it. But it's a long season in football. Anything can happen. Arj, any results you wanted to touch on before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, that was it for me, boys. I think we've covered it quite well. There's a couple of other ones on the margins, like Fulham, disappointing draw against Wolves. I tipped them to win, so they'll feel that. That's probably a bit of fatigue there.
Yeah, I'm burning on that early game. Like, I've been really up to date. I know not as good as Borgie, but FPL wise. But I forgot about that Saturday morning game, and it just really, I didn't get to touch my team at all. I haven't even looked at my FPL this week, so I'm a bit burning about that. Not to be consistent. But just quickly, guys, our signing this is what we talk about dreams in football, mate. We signed Weghorst this year on loan from Burnley, playing in Besiktas, comes to Manchester United, and he's just won his first trophy within a month. And someone like Harry Kane at Tottenham is still there and hasn't got a trophy as a world class player. So for me, Harry Kane, get out of Tottenham, get to a better man because he deserves some silverware as well.
I don't know if I'd use the word deserves, but yeah, I'm happy for him to stay there and not win anything or come back to the club that made him who he is, and that's Arsenal. But on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you keep an eye on the channel later in the week. We will be going for a walk down memory lane on Wednesday evening. We're going to go back in time. We're going to look at our three clubs here, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and we're just going to have a bit of a reflection on the greatest managers in our history. So we'll be talking Fergie, we'll be talking Mikel Arteta, no, I mean Arsene Wenger, and we will be talking Graham Potter, all the magical moments. RJ, it was Potter, wasn't it? You're
Potter
not
who?
biting. Don't be mature. Let your
Jose.
anger take over. Come on, Arch, do it.
Jose 3.0.
That's it. We'll be talking about Jose. We'll be talking Wenger. What made them great? What were their weaknesses? What did the opposition fear most? And what were some of their greatest achievements? So make sure you come into that. That's one that I think will be really enjoyable. And then, of course, keep an eye on the socials because you never know when something will be dropping. Until then, take care. Enjoy your football. Newcastle, you could have saved football. Take care.
Up the Reds. Up the Reds.